I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that this news is like overstayed its welcome. I would have thought that this would have been finished by now. I wonder how Phil Spencer is feeling right now because they've been so excited about this merger. The deal is not going through in 2023. The Activision acquisition by Microsoft has gone on far longer than I think any of us expected to. And in case you missed it, today, the $69 billion deal was officially blocked by the UK government. Now, I think we were all really expecting them to just go ahead and let them take it, considering we've seen this whole pissing contest really between Microsoft and Sony being like, oh, you guys are ruining competition. Microsoft being like, well, what about you guys and all your exclusives over the past years? And last we heard, Sony had the argument that, well, you know, the blow that we would take for losing Call of Duty would absolutely be devastating. It would absolutely be devastating. Found an article just to fact check, saying that PlayStation cannot protect against the loss of Call of Duty. Like it would be a huge enough hit to their market that they just can't allow this to happen. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of over the entirety of the merger game, not just in gaming, but also in entertainment. I mean, we've had this deal going on for over a year. Microsoft has obviously acquired many other studios in the past. We've got Amazon buying MGM. The Warner Bros. Discovery merger has been an absolute PR nightmare. And I'm just wondering, just how many do you need? And are we really fighting over this still? Competition breeds innovation. And the more that we keep having these bigger corporations acquire not small corporations, but like medium to semi-large corporations, it just feels like we're getting to the point that everyone's just got these huge powerhouses. And I know that the argument against, in the UK and that Sony's had is that Microsoft doing this is going to ruin competition. It's going to make it so that they have too much monopolized, right? Well, what actually ended up being the culprit for why the UK finally decided to block this was cloud gaming. It was actually cloud gaming. So Microsoft's $69 billion takeover was vetoed by Britain's antitrust watchdog in a potentially fatal blow for the gaming industry's biggest deal ever. And here, this Bloomberg Intelligence, Jennifer Rye explains that it's all about cloud gaming experience. Why?
What the UK's concern is that things are moving to the cloud. People will pay a subscription to play a game, and instead of downloading it, they'll have access to all sorts of games on the cloud, and that's easier and it's much better. It doesn't clog up their computers. And they're concerned that what
they're leaving out is cloud gaming. I mean, and I could be wrong. It could be based off my internet connections. I don't know. I think I have pretty decent internet, but cloud gaming is not the most seamless experience. Like, sure, you can do it, but sometimes it's pretty choppy. I don't know how many people, let me know in the comments below how many people are actually utilizing Game Pass and just playing things from the cloud. You're not downloading onto your hard drive, which is interesting to me because you could just download your hard drive, play it, and then when you're done, get rid of it. That's just me personally.
Microsoft will dominate that area in the future because it already has such a strong position in cloud. Now if it gets all this content, and especially this kind of must-have content, a game like Call of Duty, that it can basically exclude
It's so interesting to me because every year we say Call of Duty's dead, we're not getting new Call of Duty, no one's getting new Call of Duty, we're just gonna play the old Call of Duties. And then the new Call of Duty comes out and it's the highest sold game in 2022 over Game of the Year Elden Ring. So it's so interesting that, it's always like we go back to Call of Duty is the reason for this. So it sounds like more people care about Call of Duty than people are letting on.
It can basically exclude other cloud providers, and that's the concern here. What the UK's
So it's all come back to cloud gaming is the reason, I guess, because the argument thus far has been like, Microsoft has said we won't make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. We'll still provide it on PlayStation. Game Pass, obviously there's plenty of things that have become exclusive to that, but it's the competition in the cloud because Game Pass, you can have access to any of those games on Game Pass and you can stream them to your Xbox rather than downloading the full game. And that is where the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, has drawn the line. So it's been months and months and months of this. I actually did a video on the reason why the PlayStation Showcase never happened in 2022, and it's in part to do with this entire merger, competition, and market authority debacle. PlayStation hasn't been able to hold a showcase because they've been putting their 2 cents in as to why Microsoft can't be allowed to acquire Activision. And then because they were then asked to show their paperwork essentially of all the things that they've got exclusively going on and show me your numbers and everything from Microsoft as a rebuttal, they weren't able to hold that showcase. And so it's funny because I see PlayStation fans being like, PlayStation right now with the super hot fire GIF. And it's funny because this is just a big corporate pissing contest to me. That's just me personally. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's just one of those things where I heard about this merger and then I was like, dang, is that ever gonna go through? Then I find out that the PlayStation Showcase isn't happening because like Sony is fighting against it. And now here we are months later after that video and we're still talking about it. Now, Microsoft has confirmed that they plan to appeal the CMA's decision. Microsoft has been, when did they first announce this? Microsoft announced this back in January 18th of 2022. This is when they announced that they intended to do an all cash deal for Activision Blizzard. And at this point, it has been a year and 3+ months. A year, 3 months, and at the time of this recording, what day is it? 8 days. So again, I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that this news is like overstayed its welcome. I would have thought that this would have been finished by now, but it is interesting. I wonder how Phil Spencer is feeling right now because they've been so excited about this merger. The proof is in the pudding. We got everybody reporting on it, IGN, including how they're saying that it's all about the cloud gaming market, which is so funny that that's where they're worried about the competition because, again, I don't know too many people who really heavily utilize the cloud gaming options. I've done it a little bit, but I can't say that it's the greatest experience. You're better off just downloading the game, playing it until you're done, and then getting it off your hard drive. But I could see people who just want to try something real quick and they don't necessarily want to even bother with taking space up on their hard drive. But it looks like the way it works is that after the decision to appeal, the Competition Appeal Tribunal site says that straightforward cases are aimed to be dealt with within 9 months. 9 months. And if Microsoft wins, it gets returned to the CMA. So this means that the deal is not going through in 2023. Announced in January, early beginning of the year 2022, and still not seeing a closing until potentially 2024. So I guess that answers the next question that I was gonna ask you guys, which is, how long do you think we're still gonna be hearing about this? And it sounds like for the remainder of the year. As I stated before, I'm hoping that this is kind of where the big acquisition game kind of comes to a close. A lot of these mergers and acquisitions of film and entertainment studios and gaming studios has been a huge trend, kind of like the Hollywood reboot era that's going on right now, where they're literally announcing reboot after reboot. If there's not one coming out this year, they're announcing one for next year and the year after. What does all this news mean to you? Do you really care about Call of Duty so much that you want to watch all of these governments and corporations fight over it for the next year? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious because every year we're like, we're done with Call of Duty. Like the internet says we're done with it. And yet it's the main catalyst for this entire argument. It's not the only catalyst. Like obviously there are many properties under Activision Blizzard, but it's the main one that keeps getting brought up between Microsoft, Sony, and again, even that Bloomberg expert that we just watched just now. If you ever want to hear a little bit more in depth on my thoughts as far as things going on in the entertainment industry or the gaming space, feel free to come over by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jphrygian, and talk about it live there. Any questions that you have or any other gaming news that you'd be interested in seeing me cover, Really appreciate it. I've been enjoying doing these and just catching you up on any gaming news that you missed. If this helped catch you up on the news and you enjoyed the video, I definitely appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that way you're notified the next time I drop another video. And in the meantime, be sure to check out this other video that I did on the PlayStation Showcase back in 2022 and why it didn't happen due to this very case that we're talking about right now.